All right, so before we go, the big thing I want you to be conscious of is the longer you can hold your breath in before you have to take a breath, the easier it's going to go because the higher your arch is going to stay. Because every time we exhale, because you have those narrow collarbones, your shoulder blades are going to slide forward. So keep your weight on your neck and just extend your elbows as hard as you can, as many times as you can. And then if you have to take a breath, take a sip of air. Don't fully exhale. And remember, take your time on the pick, find those lats. Up and out, bar's yours. Now let it settle, squeeze your scaps now. Big breath in, pull up to meet the bar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3 left, let's go. Arch hard. 6, last 2 singles. 7, last 1, tighter with the hands, don't get lazy. Over your face, over your face, over your face, over your face, over your face. Wrap. Fantastic. How'd that feel?
Really good.
Yeah, more than you expected?
Yeah, my eyes are burning.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how you know you did it right. Yeah, you did a really good job arching the bar. And I think the big thing for us, right, is that arch is going to offset the fact that we have kind of that narrow rib cage with the shoulder blades that want to come forward. So just fucking arch hard, arch hard.
Dude, that felt good. Holy shit.
It should feel good.
Like, no pain anywhere. I didn't feel like I was fighting for a position the whole time. Whew.
I mean, there's no reason why you should be bad at bench.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think my chest is huge.
Just a skill issue.
Yeah, I know, literally. It's like, even when my arms were an inch bigger, I was probably weaker comparatively than I am now.
But look at all those USAPL guys with 14-inch arms that bench 500 pounds.
I know. That's just
And then the other half of that is that you have people that are built like me that don't bench 500 pounds, and it's like, that's kind of pathetic too.
that. It's not even pathetic. It's just like, this makes me angry. Who would you rather be, though? End of the day, do you want to look like you can't do anything?
So here's the thing. I would rather look like I bench 500 pounds and not bench 500 pounds than bench 500 pounds and not look like I bench 500 pounds. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how strong you are, it matters how strong people think you are.
Yeah. No, perception is everything. Perception
Exactly.
is everything.
In everything, in all of life. Well, because reasonably what your progression could look like from that point is you do an AMRAP, you get your starting point, and then let's say week 1 you do 4 triples, week 2 you do 8 triples, week 3 you deload with 2 triples, and then week 4 you retest.
Okay.
And you might get 11,
Yeah.
and then you bump it up to 245. And you can run that progression for months. But also, like, you can cue some leg drive. There's no downside to not.
Yeah.
Unless you're going to slide on the pad. Scooch up a bit before your pick. So you want to get your collarbones further underneath the bar so you can keep your scaps down harder. A little more, a little more, a little more, a little more. Now go. Good. And now keep those ribs flared, pull up. Longer pause. Up. Come down a little further. Up. Don't let it flare back towards your face in the bottom. Right here. Up. There you go. Up. That's all right. You got one more. Reset with your legs. Up. You're cooked.
Dude, that cooked me.
Yeah, go to 165.
Sets of 4 to 8 are great, but it's a different kind of set when you go to 20. Especially on something like that where it's still relatively heavy.
Yeah.
You were hitting the heaviest, what'd you go? You've been the 90s for like 30,
Yeah, I think I got up to the,
110s or something.
I got 110s on a low incline for like 24.
So it's, yeah, that's super heavy.
Well, and also understanding too, it's like I mean, you'll eventually reach an inflection point with a heaviness on the dumbbell where it's untenable in terms of recovery.
Yeah.
But you can run that progression for a long time. And then essentially what you would do is once you find that that second pressure exposure is too heavy, you just swap it to a higher and higher incline, and then you restart that progression. You might restart with dumbbell shoulder press. You might start with 40-pound dumbbells.
Yeah.
And then let's say that gets too heavy and your shoulders get buggy. Then you would swap that secondary one out for something like a deficit push-up.
Yeah, okay.
And you just keep cycling in some kind of AMRAP
Yeah.
through different ranges of motion and through different degrees of shoulder flexion. And then eventually you're going to be generally strong at pressing and will have generally built all the pressing muscles necessary.
That's what I like, is I like the easiness of AMRAP. Because the effort's not the hard part. It's like counting and trying to be like, you said 11 or 13. It's like, I just like to
You just go until you can't go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes much more sense in my brain.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's like, you know, the biggest opportunity with someone with leverages like you is going to be in just generally building tissue. So it's like, okay, well,
Yeah.
let's say we have a 10% lower output on the heavy stuff, but we have a 40% higher output on the hypertrophy stuff. The net positive of that is greater.
That's gonna be overall more beneficial.
Yeah. All right, let's go. So remember, don't let it flare towards your face in the pause. Don't try to touch high. You want to guide it towards the highest point of your arch. Up. Good. Remember, it's just like the other AMRAP. Up. You let it flare. Tighter hands. Up. Yeah. Get to 8. Up. Oh. Oh, you're so gay. Oh, I failed at 165 for 4. Oh, my.
Shit, yeah, we went down a way too.
Oh, no. Oh,
my
no.
chest is so pumped though.
I know.
That is ridiculous.
Yeah, you got all them muscles, can't even do anything with them.
I know.
So when you lay down, push through your legs, get your weight on your neck just like you would in a bench. You want to get your ribs flared just like you would in a bench. Don't put your feet up, put your feet down. And then push more through your legs, and I need you to flare these upper ribs to the ceiling. Shoulders out of your ears. There, that's it. Now go. And then as you're coming down, you're pushing additionally through the legs, flare the rib cage. That's it. Big stretch. Good. Keep your head back. Pull, 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 pull. There you go. Make sure you got whole hand pressure. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Good. Big inhale on the way down. Stretch that rib cage out. There you go. Big inhale. Good. Give me 2 more. Come on. Pull, 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 pull. Good. Last one. 3 count pause. 1, 2, up. Ah. There you go. So you feel the difference between that and the previous set?
Yeah.
The big thing that you have to be conscious of, right, is we want to stretch those pecs out in the exact same rib cage position that we would have when we bench. And if it's too dissimilar, problem that we're going to run into is we have this hypertrophy, but we don't have that positional awareness. Right? Because it's like the mistake that people make in a powerlifting context is they always think like, okay, isolate muscle, isolate muscle, isolate muscle. And sure, there's a component of isolating muscle, but the other component is, and things like this, when we're getting into a lot of shoulder extension, we're getting into a lot of pec stretch, which is going to bulletproof our pecs in the bottom position.
Yeah.
But if it's in a totally different rib cage position, our body doesn't have the coordination in that joint angle.
Yeah. So in a hypertrophy context, the only thing that would change between solely bodybuilding and powerlifting would be your position in relation to that exercise. So
Yeah, and it's not on everything all the time, right? So like when we look at what happens in terms of injuries for someone in like a powerlifting context, it's always kind of hitting the same patterns. So if all of our accessories are in the exact same joint angle and position that we would have our main work in, then we're going to run into problems, but we want to have a good mix of both. And so it's this idea of like a position builder versus a muscle builder.
I was going to say that was the only place I ever heard that term was pre-script.
Yeah.
And I was like, this just simplifies it. Like, you just took 50% of the confusion away from powerlifting programming. Think about it like that. Like, you wouldn't have all position building exercises in a program. That wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have all hypertrophy in a program. That wouldn't make any sense.
And then also like the things that are purely hypertrophy focused, because those are going to be much less required in terms of like coordination, right? Because they're typically going to be uni-joint exercises. Those are going to be ones that you put at the end of your workout because the amount of mental effort that you have to do to go through those is low. And then also because they're also uni-joint exercises, the load on them is lower, so that kind of satisfies that heuristic of like heavier first, lighter as we get further on in the session. So then it goes from like higher dynamic transference to lower dynamic transference, higher load to lowered load, multi-joint to uni-joint. Yeah.
It's like, would a JM press build a bench more or a single arm row push down?
Yeah, and the thing too is that I think a lot of people, and that brings up a good point, a lot of people think about it as a dichotomy, but in actuality what it is like you can do both, maybe not in the same session, but we should be doing both. And I think like you see guys who get super down the West Side rabbit hole and they just do really heavy shit or way too light shit, and it's like that's probably not effective either. And it's like you see these people like only doing JMs for triceps or only doing really heavy rope tricep or rolling tricep extensions and stuff, and it's like, bro, your elbows are gonna fucking hate you, and it's probably not actually that effective on its own. And it's just like, oh, this is just how they did it. And it's like, oh, that's fucking dumb. Because you're not taking a gram of D-ball a day, so push through the legs. Good. And think about pulling those scaps together and the ribs up on the way down. There, big stretch. Don't let your hands relax. Good. Get to 8. And if you find it too hard, you can bend your elbow a little more in the bottom. There. Come on. You got 2 more. Let's go. Push. Last one. Reset the shoulder hard. Push. Good. Much better. Yeah, so for you, that right shoulder is going to get gummy, and that's going to want to kind of fly out and get loosey-goosey. So whenever you feel that asymmetry when you're pushing up and you're like, wow, this side's way fucking harder, it's not really because that side's weaker, because in actuality, that's your right side, which should be stronger. It's that shoulder blade's just like, and then that was also the rib that you're having issues with. That's the shoulder that's not moving as well. So, exactly. So when we're thinking about if something's not contributing properly or feeling good, it's typically the position of the shoulder blade as opposed to like a weakness. It's like,
the ultimate cop out. It's like, oh, yeah, weak glutes. We're
yeah.
gonna fix that.
Yeah, it's like, okay, but maybe this shoulder's in a different position than this shoulder, and this shoulder's in a better position to have leverage.
Yeah. I mean, because I do notice that that's what I mentioned on like my lat pull downs on stuff where I'm going like this. There's a clear asymmetry side to side.
Well, and that's and the thing too is like just as a generality with people, you're gonna have an asymmetry in terms of left to right, in the shape of your rib cage in pretty much everyone because you have dominant, non-dominant side, but also because like liver's on one side, heart's on one side, you have one more rib on one side, or sorry, your lung comes higher on one side rather, not the rib, and just understanding that like most people and 90% of people end up with this like left rib flare. Like 90% of people are flared like that. And it's like that's a normal anatomical presentation to make space for the more organs on one side. Yeah. So it's like, but when we're trying to bilaterally produce force into the bar or make sure that we're in equal position, we kind of have to fight against that individual, like that natural asymmetry in our anatomy. So it's like, yeah, humans are asymmetrical, but in actuality, we want equal contribution from both sides. And that asymmetry over time, you know, it seems very like reductionist and physio to say that, but like it does lead to issues, right? Like if you have a hip shift and your left knee always hurts, don't keep squatting with a hip shift just because we're asymmetrical. Like, don't be fucking dumb. That's 4. Pull them down. Pull through, pull through, pull through. Get to 9. Reset the scap, reset the scap. Much better. 2 more. Oh, now that's the good side. Keep pulling. Bend those elbows more. Bring them into a press and press up. Oh, yes. Look at that guy building them muscles. Good work. Hey, look, you got a pump for the first time in your entire life since I've known you.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that. Look at the camera. Give him a pec flex. There you go. There you go. 14-inch arms, 40-inch chest. Yeah. So don't flex those lower abs. Let them relax. And then flare the ribs up and out. And then think about pushing your scaps down and forward. Spread with shoulder blades. There. All right, so on this one, you're going to pull your sternum through a bit. There. And that's going to get you a little bit more elbow stretch. And you should feel a pretty crazy stretch up and through here.
Yeah, I always notice it like the last handful of reps just get
Yep.
insanely hard.
There you go. Give me 4 more, even if they have to be partials. 1, 2, 3, 1 more. And then what I want you to do is pull your sternum up as much as you can and hold that stretch position. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and done. Graduating class was 32.
Yeah, I was like a 547, I think.
I think I was one of 4 men in my graduating class to go to college.
That is.
A lot of mechanics, you know, a lot of mechanics and carpenters.
Yeah, dude.
All right, so on this one, same idea. Sternum through.
Should I go elbows higher like this?
Yep.
Oh yeah, that's. I had to put that seat higher to get more of my elbow on the pad.
Yeah, it feels a little better. Three left. 2 left. Last one. Good. And down, drop the hips. Get yourself into that stretch, so chest through. Oh, there you go. That makes more sense. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and done. There. And then let yourself roll into that stretch. Elbow, there. You're gonna have to probably hold a little bit further down the dumbbell.
Yeah.
There you go. And then just keep this scap scooped. There you go. There you go. Try not to let it come across so much. Try to mark it here. There you go.
Try to keep it to the side.
Yeah, yeah. Because that turns into like a really bad skull crusher almost. All right, give me 3 more. 2 more. 1 more. Good, you're gonna come down to the stretch. 10-second hold. 10. Laminate your hand to the back of your head. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. All right. 3, 2, and switch.
I just have no power at the pot. I just can't put it back up.
Yeah.
But I'm never in fear of like dropping it on my head or anything.
There you go. Nice big crack. There you go.
That one will go behind you over there. This is still kind of a foreign movement. I can tell by how much shaking I'm
Yeah.
doing.
Well, it's also because you're fully overhead, it's less stable, so there's more shaking because your body's trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
Give me 3 more. 2 more. Last one. Good. Now into the stretch. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I got it. All right, so all we're gonna do, as fast as you can, and your rest is just doing the other one.
Okay.
You're gonna stand on it, and you're gonna do 120 reps of banded hammer curls, 120 reps of banded tricep extensions, and your rest is just doing the other one. Too heavy?
No, I mean, I think if I grab down here.
Yep. You're okay. We can go to a lighter band.
No. Don't ever
Okay.
suggest that.
3, 4, 5,
This is like CrossFit
6,
rules.
7, yeah. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Get to 25. 2 more. There you go.
Say it was?
That was 25. It's 125 per.
Oh my god.
You'll be fucking fine. Don't be a pussy.
Ready? Now.
Yeah. Well, that's what happens, right? You're from Oregon. You're not from Texas or Florida. You're trying to act like you're from Texas or Florida. You got that liberal blood in you.
You're not even from this country, dude.
Correct. They actually let me in because I was so based.
That is probably true.
Keep your elbows tucked more. There.
What am I at now?
10,
Times 10.
11, 12, 13,
I'm gonna watch this back.
14, shut up, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, tuck your elbows, don't cheat, 3, 4, and back. You're gonna have a hard time carrying plates. Yeah.
What are you doing to me?
Dude, you gotta get bigger. Stop flexing, do your set. 5 left. 11, 12, 3 left. Come on. 1, 2 more. 2, 1 more. Done. Die on your feet. Let's go. Triceps.
I don't know if we count that last one.
Yeah, that's fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 4 left. Last one. Done. That was torture, huh?
Yeah, but not ideal.
So remember, the cure for small arms is bullying and torture.